Welcome back, and to shed more light, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mostafa Waly, economic expert. Good afternoon, sir. Dr. Mustafa, how do you read Africa's achievements in 2023 despite the current challenges? Dr. Mustafa, can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yes.
Sir, how do you read Africa's achievements during the 2020?
I'm answering you now.
Sir, how do you read Africa's achievements in 2023 despite the current challenges?
By the way, yes. Anyway, the growth rate is a very important indicator for the economy at large, generally. And the figures so far, I mean, we are in the end of the year today, it's around 3.8. There are some hopes that it can reach 4, that's in general. But of course, we know that there are some areas and some countries in Africa who can and are capable of achieving very good results, especially when it comes to economy. And Egypt is, as an African country, one of them. So let's hope the situation, I mean the overall situation in the world, will be in favor of development and in cooperation.
Right. Sir, on the economic front, how do you see Africa's performance in comparison to other continents with the flare-up of the war in Ukraine and the latest developments in Gaza while the world was still coming out of the COVID-19 repercussions?
Yeah. If you remember that it's always said that Africa will be the greatest and the most promising continent for development and investment in the years to come, starting from 2020. Unfortunately, you mentioned already what are the hassles, what are the problems outside Africa and affecting Africa as country, as continent, and also affecting certain countries in Africa, those especially in the north of Africa, including us here in Egypt. Because, frankly speaking, the overall growth can give a good indication for the growth in general for the continent. In this case, if Egypt, for example, can get back again, inshallah, for the 7.8 of economic rate of growth, you can see this will affect Africa directly, a lot of cooperation between us and Africa, a lot of trade exchange, a lot of industrial even cooperation, and so on. That's it.
Sir, Africa had been predicted to be of the world's fastest growing economies. How have events impacted this outlook?
I mean, it goes without saying that if you look at, for example, what happened in Europe, the problem with Ukraine. Ukraine is the biggest and the largest grower of wheat badly needed for African countries. And it was always a bottleneck in some economies of the sub-Sahara countries.
Yeah.
And you see what happened all of a sudden. The decrease in the production, I mean the decrease of yield, the high price, the inflation rise up, and even the delay in shipment and so on. And you can see this directly affects the whole economy of any country related or depending on such crop.
Right. Dr. Waly, among the pressing issues in Africa is illegal immigration to Europe.
Yeah.
How do you read the declining numbers in illegal immigrants?
Well, I think maybe it was evident that the immigration concept itself, and the objective of immigration is not that, glamoring or that not prospecting as it was, let's say, 15, 20 years ago, because of the situation in Europe. And you see also Europe itself has to do. Now I hear that they have a very big meeting in European Union to put a regulation this year, 24, during this year, the regulation which will even regulate the immigration within the European Union. I don't know whether it is Africa there or not.
Yeah. What are your expectations for the flow of migrants during the year 2024?
You know, you will find always some people who can take the adventure, and they will get the adventure, and they will go, and they think they can manage. But, you know, most of these stories are turned into tragic stories. You know, they drowned, and we hear about this. Well, it could be much less than the year before, at least, and I mean than 23, because we didn't hear much about eating problems or sinking boats or such things.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Mostafa Waly, economic expert. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we move back to our special reports and moving on to